class. Well, let's start with how has the pandemic been for everybody, because I find it so hard to get work done, especially being at home and not having that that opportunity to get away from home and get to a new environment. So I am Michaela, and this is my special guest, apparently, Nito. But today in this video, I am going to be explaining my culture checks. And let me start off by saying this was a fun activity because it really allowed me to understand myself, and it also allowed me to tap into my creative side, which I love to do. So that was really fun. So on the outside are 5 items I think people view me as, and then on the inside will be 5 items that really make my identity and explain who I am. So let's get into the video. So real quick, I'll just show you guys the outside of my chest, and then I'm going to go ahead and explain what each wall means to me. Did I mention this was fun? Into the first wall. So I don't know if y'all can hear the song playing in the background, but it's called I Need $1. But this wall represents my social class. I know a lot of times when people first look at me, they'll think, okay, her clothes are nice and neat, hair is typically put together on a good day. So, she must be middle class, have a little change in her pockets, but no, I'm poor, and that's okay because I'm still trying to, get there. But my social class looks like I'm middle class or working class. But I took a quiz earlier this week, and my results were that I'm actually poor by definition. So that's a fun fact I learned about myself, and probably a fun fact for y'all. So we'll go ahead and get into the next wall. As we get into the next wall, of course, when people look at me, obviously I am a woman, a proud black woman at that. So this wall is dedicated to my gender, and it has a quote from the quote actually says, I am grateful to be a woman. I must have done something great in another life. And I love that quote. And if we move on to the next wall, this is dedicated to my ethnicity. It is a definition from dictionary.com for melanated. And the definition says melanated, adjective. It means insoluble pigments in all forms of light that account for a dark color of skin. As I said before, a proud black woman. So that's that wall. This is my next wall. And I know a lot of times we sometimes get ethnicity and nationality confused, but by the U.S. Department of State's definition, if you are from America, your nationality is actually U.S. national. So that's my nationality. And we'll go ahead and move to my last wall, my last and favorite wall of my culture chest. And that is this one that represents my ability. And I love not only this aspect of myself, but I love this wall because it really explains me as people see me in, also as I am, because I take pride in my ability to do, my ability to be, as well as my ability to just think and ultimately do for self. So that's this is actually one of my favorite attributes of my identity. So we'll go ahead and move to the inside of my culture chest. And on the inside, I just have some symbols that represent my identity. And we'll start off with the sponge. So this is actually a representation of my age, as funny as it may seem. But right now I am in my early 20s, so I like to think of this part of my life as the time where I can soak up as much as I can. And this especially goes to me soaking up. So I always like to soak up as much as I can. It doesn't matter like the subject, as long as it's something I can learn from, I'm happy to soak that knowledge up. So we'll move on to the second part, and this is actually a picture of my family. So in my family, my role is typically the role of, you know, a daughter, a sister, or whatnot. But I've learned that during these times, like my 20s, I'm actually finding like my universal role, if that makes sense. So not just being someone's daughter or sister or a granddaughter, you know, I'm learning to be me, if that makes sense. So moving on to the third symbolism. This is a symbol of my race. A lot of times people like to say, oh, I'm black, or I'm Asian, or I'm white, or I'm Hispanic, and but I like to consider myself to being a part of the human race, because at the end of the day, we all bleed the same color blood, and that's red, and that should be the most important thing. Down to the last two. I was really enjoying y'all get to know me. But the next one I have is a symbol for my size. You can't see it, but I am a petite little thing. So a lot of times people like to think because I'm small, like I'm supposed to be meek or weak or whatever. But this is to just symbolize that yes, I am small, but I'm a giant as well. Don't let the energy come out. Okay, so this is actually my last attribute of who I am as far as my identity, and this is an ankh. There you go. It's actually an earring, but it's an ankh earring. So this just represents really just to represent that I know a lot of times people group up according to religious affiliation, and since I have no religious affiliation, I thought this was the perfect symbolism because it is the key of life. And I just live by the law that the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energy makes, you know, the perfect union. So this was my culture box, and I honestly hope y'all enjoyed getting to know me. But this was really fun, and that's all I got.